The first punch landed like thunder cracking open a summer sky, splitting Logan's lip before he even saw the fist coming. "Fucking fairy?" the stranger snarled, his voice a guttural roar that cut through the bass-thumping beats of the Pride Parade. And in that split second, the world tilted, beer cans clattering, screams erupting like fireworks gone wrong. Logan hit the pavement hard, tasting copper and confetti, his rainbow face paint smearing into a war streak as the mob's joy curdled into chaos around him. Steven's knuckles throbbed, the sting a distant echo to the firestorm in his chest. He'd come to San Francisco's Castro Street that June afternoon not for the spectacle, but to end it, his old man's voice still ringing in his ears from last night's drunken call. "You let that shit spread, boy, and it'll infect everything good." The rainbow flag in his grip was already shredded, yanked from a lamppost like pulling weeds from a perfect lawn, its colors bleeding onto his calloused hands as he swung again. Not at the flag this time, but at the kid who dared cheer loudest, the one with the glitter-dusted cheeks and eyes like defiant stars. By the time the cops hauled Steven away, Logan was a crumpled heap, his best friend Mia sobbing over him while sirens wailed like mourning doves. "Stay with me, babe," she whispered, pressing her sequin jacket to his gushing head wound. But Logan just laughed through the blood, a weak, bubbly sound that masked the shatter inside. He'd marched for this, for visibility, for love unapologetic, but now, sprawled in the ambulance's sterile glare, he wondered if the rainbow was just a pretty noose. Steven paced the holding cell like a caged bull, the fluorescent buzz drilling into his skull. 32 years old, ex-Marine, now a roughneck welder in the Oakland shipyards, and here he was, cuffs chafing his wrists, the taste of bile rising as replay after replay flickered in his mind. The kid's eyes widening not in fear, but in a kind of weary pity that hit harder than any boot camp drill. Assault with a hate crime enhancer, the cop had spat, booking him with a glare that said Steven was just another redneck stain on the city's progressive shine. Bail was set low. His sister scraped it together from her waitressing tips, but freedom felt like a trap snapping shut. Back in his cramped apartment off Market Street, the walls closing in with posters of muscle cars and faded Metallica tickets, Steven cracked a beer and stared at the flag scraps on his coffee table. He'd burned one once, back in high school in rural Idaho, laughing with the boys around a bonfire. But this felt different, heavier, like he'd swung at a mirror and cracked his own reflection. His phone buzzed. "Dad. Again. Heard you made the news. Son. Proud of ya. Keep America straight." Steven hurled the bottle at the wall, foam spiderwebbing down like tears he wouldn't shed. Logan woke to the beep of monitors and Mia's hand in his. The hospital room in San Francisco, general smelling of antiseptic and regret. "You're lucky," the doctor said, a no-nonsense Latina with a clipboard and kind eyes. "Concussion, fractured cheekbone, but no internal bleeding. That flag might have saved your life, cushioned the fall." Logan managed a grin, wincing as stitches pulled. "Story of my life, rainbows as airbags." Mia squeezed harder, her mascara tracks fresh. "That bastard's out on bail. They ID'd him, Stephen Hargrove, some blue-collar tough guy from the East Bay. You pressing charges?" "Hell yes," Logan thought, but aloud he said, "Give me a sec to not look like roadkill first." 28, graphic designer by day, drag queen by night as Lola Vortex. He'd built a life of fierce joy after coming out at 16 in a Bible Belt suburb that still sent anonymous hate mail. Pride wasn't just a party, it was armor. Yet as nurses fussed, He traced the bruise blooming purple on his jaw, wondering if this was the crack in it. Word spread like glitter on the wind. By evening, Logan's story hit local news, grainy cell phone footage of the flag-ripping frenzy. The punch, the fall tagged Pride Punch. Twitter X, whatever, lit up. Activists calling for justice, trolls spewing slurs, and one viral post from a queer influencer. This is why we march. Blood on the pavement, but our colors don't fade. Stephen's face, blurred but unmistakable, became the villain du jour. He deleted his profiles, unplugged his landline, but the knocks came anyway. Reporters, protesters with signs. Hate is a choice. Choose love. Sleep evaded him that night, the apartment's shadows twisting into accusations. Stephen rolled onto his side, the empty beer bottles clinking like chains. He'd always known he was different, the way his pulse quickened not at the cheerleaders in high school, but at the quiet strength of his squad leader, Ramirez, with his easy grin and tattooed forearms. But Dad's belt had cured that curiosity quick. Each lash a lesson. Men love women, or they ain't men. So Stephen buried it, married young to Sarah, a sweet girl from church who deserved better, divorced after 3 childless years when the lie choked him silent. Now, alone, the what-ifs clawed back. Dawn broke gray over the bay, and Stephen dragged himself to work, hard hat low, welds sparking like suppressed fireworks. The crew razzied him lightly. Heard you went full Hulk at the parade, Hargrove, but eyes lingered wary. By lunch, the foreman pulled him aside. Clientele's getting heat. Take a week unpaid. Sort your shit. Unemployed rage boiled, but underneath, something softer. A flicker of shame that tasted like the kid's blood on his conscience. Logan, discharged with a script for painkillers and a court date, limped back to his Mission District walk-up, the stairwell echoing his shallow breaths. Mia helped unpack, fussing like a mama bear. You're not going alone to that hearing. We'll pack the room with queers. He nodded, but alone that night, scrolling through comments on his own post, support mixed with pity, he felt exposed. Why me? He whispered to the ceiling fan's lazy spin. Not the first hate he'd faced, but this one lingered. The attacker's face burned in, rugged jaw, stormy blue eyes, a vulnerability in the swing that screamed unresolved war. 2 weeks blurred into a tense standoff. Logan threw himself into sketches, bold murals of intertwined hands under rainbows, while Stephen haunted dive bars, nursing whiskeys and avoiding mirrors. The preliminary hearing loomed, a Friday in July, the courthouse steps swarming with media and rainbow-clad allies. Logan arrived early, arm in a sling, Mia at his side, her love winds Tia shield. Inside, the air hummed electric. The judge, a stern woman with silver hair, called the case. Stephen stood at the defense table, suit ill-fitting from a thrift store rack. His lawyer, a harried public defender, mumbling pleas for leniency. My client acted in a moment of poor judgment, Your Honor. No priors, veteran. But when Logan took the stand, voice steady despite the tremor in his hands, the room hushed. He didn't just hit me. He tore down what we build every year to say we're here. We're human. We're worthy. Stephen's gaze locked on him then, not with hate, but a gut punch of recognition. The kid wasn't broken. He was unbroken, luminous even in scars. The judge set trial for fall. Bail continued, but ordered community service and anger management. Outside, Flashes popped as Logan fielded mics. Forgiveness? Not yet. But justice? Absolutely. Steven slipped out a side door, heart hammering, the weight of those words pressing like a fresh weld scar. He didn't see the truck until it was too late. The screech of tires on rain-slicked Embarcadero, the slam of metal on flesh as he crossed against the light. Mind elsewhere. Pain exploded, then black. Hospital lights swam back into focus hours later, beeps syncing with his ragged breaths. Mr. Hargrove, you're stable. Broken ribs. Internal bleeding we had to transfuse. The nurse, a burly guy with a pride pin discreetly on his scrubs, checked the 4. Lucky match. Donor O-negative. Universal. Your angel's name is Logan Reyes. Steven's world funneled to a pinprick. Logan. The kid. His blood, running through Steven's veins now, mending what he'd broken. No, he rasped, throat raw. Tell me it's a mistake. But the chart didn't lie, and as morphine dulled the edges, a treacherous warmth spread. Gratitude, terror, the spark of something forbidden igniting in the ruins. Logan stared at the call from the hospital, Mia's apartment kitchen clock ticking like a bomb. Donor notification? For him. His voice cracked, the smoothie blender whirring forgotten in the background. It had been 3 days since the accident splashed across feeds. Pride puncherous payback. The headlines crowed, and now this, his rare blood type, given routinely after Pride's annual drive, pumping life back into his attacker's body. Karma's a bitch with a rainbow twist, Mia quipped, but her eyes were serious. You gonna visit? Visit? The word conjured sterile halls and unspoken accusations. Yet Logan's feet moved before his brain caught up. He told himself it was curiosity, closure, anything but the pull he'd felt in court, those blue eyes cracking open a door he'd slammed shut long ago. Dressed in jeans and a faded Arcade Fire tee, sling swapped for a wrap, he cabbed across the bay, the fog rolling in like a reluctant witness. Steven lay propped in the bed, monitors beeping a mechanical lullaby, the room sparse but for a wilting fern from his sister. Tubes snaked from his arms. But it was the vulnerability that hit Logan hardest, the man who'd loomed like a storm now pale, unshaven, one arm in a cast from the impact. You, Steven muttered, eye snapping open, raw and unguarded. No snarl, just a whisper of awe and shame. Should have known it'd be you. Full circle. Ha! Logan hovered in the doorway, pulse thundering. Not here to gloat. Just checking my investment. He stepped closer, the scent of hospital bleach mixing with Steven's faint, earthy cologne, sawdust and salt. Docs say you're a walking miracle. My blood's got places to be. You know, sarcasm shielded the tremor, but Steven's laugh was a rasp. Genuine, pulling at stitches. Sit. Please. I ain't gonna bite, not anymore. Steven shifted, wincing, gesturing to the vinyl chair. Logan hesitated, then sank down, the space between them charged like the air before a monsoon. Look, kid Logan, right? I don't expect forgiveness. Hell, I don't deserve a damn drop. But thank you. For this, he tapped the 4-line, eyes dropping. Feels like cheating death with stolen grace. The silence stretched, heavy with unsaid histories. Logan studied him, the lines etched deep from years of clenching jaws, the tattoo peeking from his gown sleeve, a marine eagle, wings clipped by scars. Why'd you do it? The flag, The punch. Was it just Dad's echo? Or something eating you alive? Bold, maybe reckless. But the question had festered since the pavement. Stephen's jaw tightened, gaze drifting to the window where fog blurred the skyline. Grew up in a town where gay was the devil's shortcut. Dad beat it into me, literally. Mom split when I was 10, said he was poison. Joined the Corps to prove I was man enough. Came back. Empty. Parade hit too close. All that joy, out loud, made me feel like a fraud. His voice cracked, the confession spilling like blood from a fresh cut. You looked so free, cheering like the world owed you nothing. I hated that. Hated me for wanting it. Logan's breath caught, the room shrinking to just them, predator and prey blurring into mirrors. Freedom's a hustle, Stephen. I lost friends, family, jobs chasing it. But that flag? It's not permission. It's a promise. To love who we love, without apology. He leaned forward, sling brushing the bed rail. And yeah, it hurts when it's ripped down. But blood mends. Stephen's hand twitched, as if to reach, then fell back. You're too good for this city, Reyes. Too good for assholes like me. But his eyes lingered, tracing Logan's bruised jaw like a map to absolution. And in that gaze, Logan saw not just regret, but hunger, a quiet, buried flame. Discharge came swift for Stephen, ribs taped, prescriptions in hand, but the hospital became their unlikely confessional. Logan returned daily, under the guise of follow-ups, bringing coffee from Tartine, black for Stephen, oat milk latte for himself, and stories swapped like contraband. Stephen spoke of deployments in dusty Afghan outposts, the brotherhood that almost broke him when Ramirez died in his arms, whispering, "I love you," man that Stephen pretended not to hear. Logan countered with drag nights at the Oasis, the rush of lip-syncing to Gaga under neon, the sting of a lover's ghost who bailed when fame knocked. You're a queen, Stephen chuckled one afternoon, sunlight slanting gold through blinds, casting halos on Logan's curls. Explains the sparkle. Saw it in your eyes that day, even after he trailed off, shame shadowing his features. Even after, Logan echoed softly, their knees brushing under the tray table. That's the point. We glitter through the grit. The touch lingered, electric, unspoken permission blooming in the space. Stephen's fingers ghosted Logan's wrist, tracing the pulse point where ink bloomed, a tiny rainbow circuit board, his designer's sigil. Soft, Stephen murmured, voice gravel low. Everything about you. Heat flushed Logan's cheeks, a mix of thrill and wariness. This man had drawn blood. Now, he stirred it. Careful, Hargrove. I'm not a conquest. But he didn't pull away, and when Stephen's thumb stroked once, deliberate, Logan felt the dam crack, years of guarded heart yielding to the pull. By week's end, Stephen was ambulatory, shuffling laps in the hallway with Logan's arm as crutch. Nurses smirked knowingly. Mia texted warnings, "Don't go full Florence Nightingale on a fascist," but Logan waved them off. It was more than pity. It was alchemy, hate's residue transmuting to something tender, terrifying. One evening, as rain pattered the window, Stephen halted mid-lap, turning to Logan with eyes like storm-tossed seas. Come back to my place tomorrow. Not the hospital, real talk. I owe you that. Logan nodded, heart a drum solo. Tomorrow, then. Back in the Mission, he paced his loft, canvases leaning like silent judges. The cities hum a distant roar. Was this redemption or recklessness? He texted Mia a single emoji, a question mark in rainbow, and crashed into dreams of blue eyes and torn flags, waking with a resolve as sharp as fresh ink. Stephen's apartment was a time capsule of arrested manhood. Weight bench in the corner, fridge stocked with bud and takeout remnants, a single photo of him and his sister at her wedding, smiles strained. Not much, he apologized, easing onto the sagging couch, ribs protesting. Logan waved it off, perching on the arm, surveying the chaos. It's you. Raw edges. All. They talked till dusk bled to neon. Beers cracked, non-alcoholic for Stephen, and walls tumbled. Stephen confessed the divorce. Sarah's quiet exit after finding his browser history. The self-loathing that fueled bar fights and bad choices. Thought punching shadows would make him go away. Yours just had better colors. Logan shared his own fractures, the dad who prayed him straight, the mom who baked him cookies laced with Leviticus quotes. Pride's my middle finger to all that. But you made it personal. As night deepened, the air thickened, confessions veering intimate. Stephen's hand found Logan's knee. Steady now. No hesitation. I see you, Logan. Not as victim as fire. Wish I'd seen it sooner. Their faces inches apart. Breaths mingling. Logan closed the gap. Lips brushing tentative. A spark. Then inferno. Stephen's kiss was hungry, apologetic, hands cradling Logan's face like fragile glass, thumbs wiping phantom bruises. They broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed. This is crazy, Logan whispered, but his fingers tangled in Stephen's shirt, anchoring. Yeah, Stephen agreed, voice wrecked. Best kind. In that stolen moment, betrayal loomed unspoken. Stephen's past a ghost. Logan's trust a tightrope, but for now, it was enough. Two men, bloodbound, rewriting the script. Weeks wove into a fragile rhythm. Logan dragged Stephen to anger management in a Haight-Ashbury basement. Circle of folding chairs and shared scars. Where Stephen's gravel confessions, I hurt someone because I hated myself, earned nods, not judgment. In return, Stephen showed up to Logan's gallery opening, hulking in a button-down that strained at the shoulders, sipping cheap wine amid abstract queer icons. Proud of you, he murmured later, in the alley shadows, pulling Logan close for a kiss that tasted of Merlot and mended ribs. But cracks spiderwebbed. Mia cornered Logan over tacos at La Taqueria. He's your knight or your kryptonite, girl. That punch wasn't abstract art. Logan deflected with laughs. But doubt gnawed. Stephen, too, wrestled demons. Dad's voicemails escalating to slurred ultimatums. That fag shit on the news? You gone soft. One night, post-group, Stephen vanished into a bender, waking in Logan's loft with a hangover and apologies. Can't run from it forever, Logan said, bandaging a split knuckle. But you don't have to run alone. Their first real date was a quiet rebellion. Sunset ferry to Sausalito, hands laced on the deck as the city skyline receded like a forgiven sin. Stephen's laugh came freer. Stories of boyhood fishing trips laced with what-ifs. What if I'd kissed that farm boy instead of fighting him? Logan leaned into his shoulder, the bay's salt spray mingling with possibility. What if we write the sequel, yet betrayal brewed in shadows? Stephen's sister, Jenna, visited unannounced, her toddler in tow, eyes wide at the rainbow mug on the counter. Steve? What's this? Over coffee. He came out, stumbling. Raw, I'm with him. Logan. Jenna hugged him fierce, whispering finally. But the call to Dad that night, a grenade. Disowned, Stephen told Logan later, voice hollow. Blood's thicker, but mine's queer now. Logan held him through the sobs, their bodies entwining in a tangle of limbs and laments, love making a sacrament of slow touches and whispered vows. We're enough, Logan breathed, tracing Stephen's tattoos like Braille secrets. Dawn found them spent, entwined, the world outside a canvas yet to be inked. Fall crept in with Bay Area chill, leaves turning gold on the Embarcadero Esplanade where joggers blurred past like indifferent spectators. The trial date loomed, October 15th, a Thursday etched in Logan's planner like a scar, and rehearsals became ritual. Mock cross-examinations over diner pancakes, Stephen's public defender drilling Logan on timelines. Triggers. Stick to facts, the lawyer advised. A wiry queer vet named Alex with a buzzcut and no illusions. Jury loves underdogs, but hate crimes? They eat remorse for breakfast. Stephen attended every session. Silent sentinel in the corner. His presence a bomb and a barb, love's anchor. Yet the chain linking them to that bloody June day. Their life, meanwhile, bloomed in stolen pockets. Weekends at Logan's loft. Walls alive with half-finished murals. Stephen's rough sketches bleeding into Logan's fluid lines. A collaborative phoenix from flag ashes. Evenings at dive bars in the Tenderloin. Stephen's arm possessive around Logan's waist. Weathering stares with a glare that said mine. Sex was revelation, urgent at first. Stephen's marine-honed body mapping Logan's with reverent hands, learning curves and hollows like sacred text. You're beautiful, he'd growl into Logan's neck, post-climax haze, and Logan, cynical queen, believed it, arching into the words like sunlight. But conflict coiled tighter than a riptide. Mia's warnings escalated to interventions, cornering Stephen at a gallery after-party. You break him again. I break you permanently. Stephen took it stone-faced, later confessing to Logan over late-night foe. She's right. I'm a loaded gun. Logan waved it off. But the seed rooted trust's fragility. A glass house in earthquake country. The betrayal struck sly, insidious. Stephen's old crew from the yards, hearing whispers through the grapevine, cornered him at a Union City sports bar, beers flowing. Bro code thick as fog. That parade bullshit? You slumming with the twink now? One jeered. A burly pipefitter named Troy, ex-squad mate. Stephen's fists clenched. Ribs a phantom ache. But the old script flipped. Mind your own. Asshole. Punches flew. Stephen holding back. Taking more than he gave. Ending with a busted lip and Troy's parting shot. You're dead to us, fairy lover. Bruised but unbowed. Stephen drove to Logan's. The radio crooning Springsteen, Thunder Road. Ironic anthem of escape. He didn't mention the fight, just collapsed into bed. Logan's body a harbor. But leaks spring eternal. By morning, anonymous texts hit Logan's phone. Grainy pics of Stephen midscrap, captioned your man's still got hate in his hooks. Mia forwarded them. Addendum, told you. Bail? Logan confronted him over breakfast. Avocado toast cooling untouched. What the fuck? Stephen, you said it was done. Anger management's your new religion. Stephen's face crumpled. Defenses down. It was. They baited me. Slurs. Threats. I walked away. Mostly, the half-truth hung. a lie by omission, and Logan's hurt flared volcanic. Mostly, that's my blood in your veins, my trust on the line, and you mostly walk? This isn't a sequel. It's a rerun. Stephen reached, desperate. I love you, Logan. That scares me shitless. More than Fallujah, more than Dad's ghost. But Logan recoiled. Sling long gone but wounds fresh. Love's not a shield for relapse. Trials and days, how do I stand there, perjuring my heart? He stormed out, door slamming like judgment, leaving Stephen adrift in the loft's echo. The trial opened under overcast skies, the federal courthouse in Hayes Valley a fortress of marble and murmured prayers. Logan took the stand first, voice steady as he recounted the punches blur, the flags rip like flesh tearing. Jurors, diverse cross-section, from tech bros to retirees leaned in, faces etched with the city's liberal lean. Stephen watched from the defense table, cuffed for the duration, his eyes pleading across the aisle. When it was his turn, he rose slow, suit rumpled, and faced the room like a confession booth. Your Honor, ladies and gents, he began, voice gravel over glass. I ain't here to dodge. June 25th. I was a storm in human skin, hate I nursed like bad whiskey. Tore that flag 'cause it mocked the cage I'd built. Hit Logan 'cause he shone too bright for my dark. Pauses heavy. He glanced at Logan. Permission sought. But that man's blood saved me, literally, after I nearly bought it crossing the street. Ghosts chasing. O negative angel. Taught me grace I didn't earn. Gasps rippled. The prosecutor objected. Self-serving narrative. But the judge allowed. Her gavel a soft thunder. Stephen pressed on. Raw as open vein. I'm gay. Folks. Buried it deep. Let it fester into fists. Logan's not victim. He's mirror. Showed me love's not weakness. It's the weld that holds. Tears tracked. Unashamed. And when he sat, the courtroom hummed with shifted air. Closing arguments cleaved the divide. Prosecution painting Stephen as irredeemable bigot. Defense as flawed everyman mid-redemption. Verdict deliberations stretched into evening. The wait a crucible. Logan in a holding room with Mia. Pacing. Stephen in lockup. Head in hands. 9 p.m. The jury filed back. Guilty on assault. But misdemeanor hate enhancement. Leniency's nod to remorse. Community service doubled. Probation with mandatory therapy. Outside. Rain slicked the steps. Media a frenzy. Logan lingered as Stephen emerged. Ankle monitor beeping its tether. You spoke truth, Logan said. Voice low. Rain beating on lashes. But trust? That's the real sentence. Stephen nodded. Broken open. I'll serve it. Every day. A hug. Brief. Bone-crushing. Cameras flashing like distant lightning. Then Logan pulled away. Into Mia's car. Heart a war zone. Reconciliation simmered slow. Stephen dove into service, painting community centers in the Castro. Rainbow motifs under his brush. Logan's designs guiding. Letters came weekly, handwritten on lined paper. Miss your laugh like air. Working the program. Step 5 tomorrow. Admitting defects to God. You. Anyone. Logan read them in bed. Fingers tracing ink. Arousal and ache twining. Mia softened. Grudging. He's trying. Don't say I didn't warn. Thanksgiving approached. A fraught frontier. Logan's family. Distant Texan holdouts. Sent a card. Praying for your soul, son. Stevens? Radio silence. Disownment's chill. So they forged new. Potluck at Mia's. A queer chosen family sprawl. Drag aunts. Tech uncles. Toddlers in tiny turbans. Stephen arrived with pie. Nerves jangling, but Logan's hand in his steadied. Toasts rang. To blood that binds. Not breaks. Under the table. Fingers laced. Promise renewed. Intimacy reignited tentative. A movie night at Stevens. Brokeback Mountain flickering. Echoes too close. Halfway through. Ennis's anguish mirroring. Stephen paused the screen. Turning to Logan with eyes fierce. No mountains for us. No hiding. He kissed him then. Deep. Declarative. Bodies following to the bedroom where walls fell final. Stephen's touches mapped forgiveness. Logan's moans absolution. Slow builds to shattering releases. Sweat-slick vows gasped into skin. Yet climax brewed darker. Dad resurfaced. Not with words, but action. A package to Stephen's door. No return address. Inside, his old dog tags, scorched at the edges, and a note scrawled in familiar fury. Burned him with the fag flag you waved. You're no son of mine. Stephen crumpled, unseen, but Jenna called hours later. He torched your room, Steve. Photos, medals gone. Said you're dead. Logan found him on the fire escape. Dawn's light gilding red-rimmed eyes. Lost everything, Stephen choked. Tags dangling like nooses. Logan climbed out, wrapping around him. Not everything. Not me. But in Stephen's silence, betrayal's shadow loomed. Not his, but the world's, testing love's tensile strength. Holiday lights twinkled premature, the city decking in defiant cheer. Logan pulled Stephen to Glide Memorial's turkey dinner, volunteers in aprons doling plates to the unhoused. Service twice over, Logan quipped, but Stephen's hands shook passing mashed potatoes, faces blurring into his own potential ghosts. A vet at the table, grizzled with PTSD scars, clasped his shoulder. Heard your story, Marine. Redemption's a bitch, but she rides shotgun. That night, back in the loft, they made love by candlelight, Thanksgiving's flicker, bodies a bulwark against voids. Marry me, Stephen whispered post-climax. Half-joking, ringless finger tracing Logan's ring. Logan laughed, tears pricking. In California? Hell yes. But first, survive the season. December dawned crisp. The trials echo fading to bureaucracy, probation check-ins, therapy marathons. Stephen landed gig work. Freelance welding for art installs. Irony not lost. Logan thrived. Commissions pouring for Pride retrospectives. From ashes to allies. Their rhythm steadied. Brunch at foreign cinema. Projections dancing on plates. Hikes in Marin. Whispering futures amid redwoods. But the axe fell swift. New Year's Eve. A bash at the stud. Queer mecca pulsing with bass and bodies. Stephen danced loose. Logan's hips grinding close. Champagne bubbles in veins. Midnight struck. Auld Lang Syne swelling. And in the crush, a face from Stephen's past, Troy. Crew muscle. Eyes narrowing. Faggot, he slurred, shoving past. But Stephen spun. Fists rising, instincts ghost. Logan yanked him back. Into the alley's chill. Not here. Not now. But Troy followed. 3 shadows in tow. Barbs flying. Traitor. Sucking rainbow dick now. Stephen lunged. Logan's grip slipping, fists connected, blood sprayed, sirens wailed anew. Cops swarmed. Stephen cuffed again. Probation violated in neon glow. Bail hearing. Judge's gavel like fate's dice. Revoked. 6 months. Minimum. Logan watched him led away. Orange jumpsuit a mockery. As locking wait for me. But in the squad car, doubts whisper. Was love enough? Or just another cage? County jail in San Bruno squatted like a concrete grudge. Razor wire glinting under winter sun as Logan signed in for visitation. First of many, he vowed, clutching the plastic chair like a lifeline. Stephen slid into the booth opposite, plexiglass smudged, his face gaunt but eyes alight. You came, he breathed, receiver to ear, voice tinny through the divide. Logan pressed palm to glass, mirror image. Promised, didn't I? Besides, someone's gotta keep you from bench pressing the guards. Laughter crackled, brittle but real, easing the fluorescent hum. They spoke in coded bursts, Stephen's cell-block tales of tattooed philosophers debating Fight Club, Logan's updates on the loft, Mia's crashing, but the cat misses your snores. Beneath, the ache pulsed, 6 months a chasm, probation's breach a self-inflicted wound. Troy's facing charges, Stephen added, jaw tight. Assault on a PO. But I swung first, old habits. Logan's throat bobbed. Habits break. Stephen. You're proof. But doubt's undercurrent tugged. Letters from Jenna detailing dad's spiral. Bar fights. Eviction. A final postcard. Rot in hell. Queer. Was jail the cage? Or freedom's forge? Visits became sacrament. Bi-weekly, Logan driving the fog-choked 101. Smuggling stories like contraband drag show triumphs. Where Lola Vortex slayed to Born This Way. Crowd chanting Logan's name. Inside, Stephen transformed. Therapy groups in the gym. Circles of felons unpacking baggage. His turn, voice steady. Hate was my armor. Cracked it open. Found a man underneath. Loving one. Inmates nodded. One grizzled lifer slipping him a shank-whittled heart. For the boy on the outside, work detail in the kitchen honed patience. Chopping onions till tears cleansed. Learning to cook, he joked to Logan. For our wedding spread, yet conflict crested internal. Dreams plagued Stephen, pride's punch replaying. Logan's face morphing to Ramirez's. Blood universal. Accusatory. Waking sweat-soaked on a thin cot. He'd trace the transfusion scar. Whispering sorry to ghosts. Letters to Logan poured. Miss your skin like desert misses rain. Reed Whitman, Song of Myself, says we're all leaves of grass. Even me. Logan hoarded them. Reading aloud to empty rooms. Voice breaking on I celebrate myself. And sing myself. Betrayal's second act slithered via proxy. Mia. Ever Sentinel. Unearthed Stephen's pre-arrest browser history. Dug by a PI friend. For safety. Screenshots hit Logan's inbox. Grindr chats from months back. Anonymous hookups with straight married guys. Timestamps post their first kiss. Curiosity. Stephen had called it in therapy. But to Logan, knife twist. While I was falling. You were hedging? He hurled at the next visit. Voice venom-laced. Stephen paled. Receiver creaking in grip. Before us, reel us. Swore it off. Logan. Those were ghosts. Not choices, but the plexiglass mocked transparency. Words hollow echoes. Trust's currency, Logan snapped. Standing abrupt. You bankrupted us. He stormed out, rain lashing the parking lot. Mia waiting with tissues and tequila. Toxic masculinity's encore. Cut the cord. Babe. No contact for weeks. Logan's silence avoids Stephen filled with frantic letters. Unsent. I betrayed myself first. You're my north. Jenna mediated. Visits proxy. He's shattered. Logan. But he chose you, jail or not. Pride's anniversary neared. June's ghost. And Logan cracked. Attending a vigil at the attack site. Candles flickering where flag once flew. There, amid chants of we are here, he penned a letter, pain's a teacher. Yours taught me boundaries. But love, it bends, doesn't break. Wait for release, then we talk. Parole hearing in April. Spring's tentative bloom. Stephen prepped meticulous. Testimonials from therapist, progress exemplary. Jenna, family's anchor. Even the lifer, man's got heart. Logan submitted one. Anonymous. The blood between us is love's ledger. Balance it. Board deliberated 2 days. Verdict. Early release. Good behavior. With strings, electronic monitoring. Job placement program. Pickup day. Logan at the gates. Engine idling in a borrowed Prius. Heart jackhammer. Stephen emerged blinking. Duffel slung. 6 months etching hollows but fire unquenched. You stayed, he rasped. Sliding in. Hand hovering till Logan clasped it. Halfway, Logan clarified. Thumb stroking knuckles. Drive through first, in and out. Your ritual. Burgers devoured curbside. Grease-fingered laughs easing ice. But homeward bound, tension hummed. Stephen's halfway house in Oakland. Sterile bunk, curfew strict. But Logan's visits cleared, approved associate. First night, diner debrief. Missed real food. Missed you. Eyes locked. Air ionizing. Logan leaned across Formica. Kiss chaste but charged. Slow. Hargrove. Rebuild the bridge. Nods exchanged. Promises etched. Summer reignited tentative. Stephen's program slotted him at a queer youth center, mentoring at-risk LGBTQ+ kids. Irony's grace. Teaching knots, he told Logan over park picnics. Literal and figurative. How to tie 'em without choking. Logan beamed, sketching him mid-story. Charcoal capturing laugh lines new. Drag nights resumed. Stephen in audience. Cheering Lola strut. Once, joining backstage for makeup. His stubble a canvas for glitter bombs. Romance deepened layered. Lazy Sundays welding sculptures in Logan's studio. Sparks flying literal and figurative. Intimacy rebuilt brick by brick. Kisses lingering. Hands exploring with permission's reverence. One August Eve. Post-rehearsal. Stephen knelt in the loft. No ring yet. Program pays shit. But marry me? For real. Flags and all. Logan hauled him up. Yes, sobbed into collarbone. Bodies sealing vows in a frenzy of rediscovery. Slow grinds to urgent claims. Cries echoing mine. Always. Climax loomed unbidden. Dad's end came sudden. Aortic aneurysm. Barstool collapse in that Idaho dive. Jenna's call pierced a September dawn. He's gone. Steve. Left a box, your stuff. Unburned. Funerals tomorrow. Stephen froze. Logan's arms his only tether. Go, Logan urged, packing a bag. Bury the ghost. Idaho's panhandle. Pines whispering judgments. The church pew hard as memory. Family sparse, cousins awkward. Jenna tear-streaked. Pastor eulogized. A man of convictions. Unyielding. Stephen spoke last. Voice steady. He shaped me, taught strength, but not kindness. I forgive him. Wish he'd forgiven me. Box in lap. Metals polished. A letter yellowed. Son, if you're reading this, I failed. Love's the fight worth losing for. Be brave. Sobs racked. Catharsis flood. Return flight. Logan at San Francisco Airport. Embrace airport public but profound. Brave, Stephen echoed, nuzzling. With you, always. But betrayal's echo lingered, Dad's words a mirror to Stephen's slips. I hedged once, he confessed en route home. Won't again. You're my conviction. October's Pride retrospectives peaked. Logan's exhibit at SFMOMA Annex. Blood and banners, canvases of that day. Abstract fury to tender arcs. Opening night. Crowd thrumming. Stephen in borrowed blazer. Hand possessive. Mayor's speech lauded. From violence to vision. But mid-toast. Troy materialized, released. Smirking from shadows. Nice show, boys. Missed the old Steve. Stephen tensed. Logan's grip anchor. Walk, Logan whispered, steering away. Alley escape, Troy tailing, venom spilling, sold out for Dick. Your blood donor's a joke. Stephen whirled, but Logan blocked, voice steel. Enough. We're done dancing your hate. Cops called. Troy hauled, but the shove's tremor lingered. That night, loft ablaze with afterglow. Friends toasting, bodies swaying. Stephen pulled Logan to the fire escape. City lights a constellation below. Almost lost it, he admitted, voice raw. You stopped me. Logan cupped his face, thumbs tracing jaw. We stop each other. That's love. Yet the night's tale hid thorns. Anonymous email hit Logan's inbox pre-dawn. Dad's letter, scanned and sent, with addendum from a friend. Knew he was weak. Like you. Forgery? Hack? Doubts virus spread. Mia's radar pinging. Old wounds reopening. Protect your peace. Confrontation brewed over coffee. Steam curling accusatory. Is this you? Logan demanded. Screen thrust. Stephen scanned. Paling. No, God. No. But. He wrote it before. Maybe Jenna? Or crew revenge? Panic edged his denial. Logan's trust fraying. Or you? Hedging again? Keeping one foot out. Words escalated. Voices shattering quiet. Liar. Victim. Fraud. Culminating in Logan's shove. Out. Till truth clears the air. Stephen left. Halfway house swallowing him. Heart a crater. Days blurred. Radio silence. Logan's sketches dark. Mia's vigils constant. Stephen sought Jenna, innocent, horrified. Troy grilled by PIs. Alibi iron. Therapy unearthed. A cousin. Grudge-bearing. The leak. Proof emailed frantic. It's over. Come home. Logan read at midnight. Rain sheeting windows. Forgiveness? A choice. Not chain. Dawn call. Halfway. 7 a.m. We finish this. Door open to Stephen. Drenched. Eyes pleading. Hug first, bone deep. Then words. I choose us. Every scar. Winter's grip loosened to tentative spring. The Bay Area greening in fits as Stephen and Logan's rebuild became epic. Less fairy tale. More gritty indie flick. Plot twists earned through sweat. Halfway house curfew chafed. But Stephen's program propelled. Certification in welding instruction. Classes at the youth center expanding to full-time. Kids like me. Lost boys finding compasses. He told Logan over takeout Thai. Chopsticks clacking like Morse I love you. Logan nodded, sketching idly a family portrait. Abstract. Two silhouettes under a mended flag. Roots intertwining. Therapy tandem now. Joint sessions in a No Valley office. Sage-scented and sunlight-dappled. Unpacking betrayals strata. Your slips, the counselor, non-binary. Tattooed sage. Probed gently. Weren't just fear. They were grief. For the man you thought you should be. Stephen's hand found Logan's under the Afghan throw. Anchor steady. Grieving still. But building better. Logan added. Voice soft. And I? Guarded too hard. Thought love was armor. Not vulnerability. Tears shared. Catharsis quiet roar. Emerging lighter. Laced. Romance flowered renewed. Micro-adventures. Probation's leash long but loving. Picnic at Baker Beach. Dunes whispering as waves crashed. Bodies tangled in a blanket fort of whispers. Kisses salty. Hands mapping freckles like stars. Remember our first? Stephen murmured. Fingers in Logan's curls. Ferry ride. Hands shy. Logan grinned. Nipping earlobe? Now? No shyness. Laughter led to lovemaking. Sandrough and sunwarm. Cries muffled in shoulders, reclamation's rhythm. Community wove them tighter. Pride's one-year mark. Not March, but memorial. Logan curating a Castro installation. Veins of valor. Steel flags forged by Stephen's hands. Etched with donor stories. Opening. Crowd reverent. Mia emceeing with sass. Jenna flying in with nephew in tow. Uncle Steve, the tyke squealed, hugging legs. Stephen's eyes misting as he knelt. Yeah, kiddo. Uncles. Plural. Logan watched. Heart full, family not blood, but chosen bold. Yet climax crested inevitable. Life's drama unscripted. June's heat wave baked the city. Exhibit humming when Troy crashed. Parole flouted. Eyes wild with bourbon and grudge. This your circus? Clowns? He bellowed, smashing a sculpture. Shards flying like shrapnel. Chaos erupted. Screams. Security swarming. Stephen lunging instinctive. Protect. Fists clenched but held by Logan's cry. No, not like this. Troy swung wild. Connecting with Stephen's jaw, crack echoing. Then Logan's shove sent him sprawling into guard's arms. Cuffs clicked. Troy hauled spitting slurs. You'll burn. Traitors. Ambulance wailed. Stephen's lip split. Logan's wrist sprained in the fray. Our weight. Hands clasped. Adrenaline ebbing to aftershocks. Almost, Stephen whispered. Ice pack to face. Almost lost it. Logan squeezed. But didn't. That's the win. News cycled. Pride punch redux. Attacker attacks again. Viral vindication. Stephen hailed hero for restraint. Logan for courage. Probation reviewed. Commended. Monitor off early. Full circle. The officer quipped. Unlocking the anklet. Freedom's weight lifted. Stephen's first act. Jewelry store heist. Modest band. Silver with rainbow inlay. Dinner at Zuni's. Oysters raw as confessions. Proposal redux under bistro lights. Marry me, Reyes. Make the sequel official. Logan yesed through tears. Ring slipping on like fate's key. Wedding brewed summer's end. City Hall. No fuss. Witnesses Mia and Jenna. Vows handwritten on recycled flag scraps. I tore down once, Stephen pledged, voice carrying. Now, I build with you, Logan countered. You broke me open. Now, we mend the world. Rings exchanged. Kiss ceiling, crowd whooping. Confetti queer as joy. Reception at the center. Kids dancing to RuPaul remixes. Toasts toasting blood brothers. Lovers eternal. But humanism's hue-tempered triumph. Post-vows glow faded to realities. Stephen's nightmares resurfacing. Dad's letter framed as talisman but trigger. He'd hate this. He confessed one midnight. Logan's chest pillow. Hate us happy. Logan traced scars. His loss. We're his redemption unasked. But given. Therapy tuned. Meds trialed, PTSD's shadow shrinking. Not slain. Logan's exhibit toured, LA. NYC. Whispers of national. Stephen tagged along. Burly roadie hauling crates. Their motel nights a tour of touches. LA's Palmsway seductions. NYC's rooftop rhapsodies. Betrayals ghost, exorcised in a Brooklyn bar. Bumping Troy's parole officer. News. Extended bid. Restitution ordered. Karma's weld. Stephen toasted. Logan's laugh champagne sharp. Fall's harvest. Loft expanded. Stephen's sculptures dotting shelves. Abstract hearts. Flag forged. Holidays healed. Thanksgiving potluck swelled. Logan's tentative Texan aunt attending. Hand shaky but extended. Proud. Nephew. Finally. Christmas. Tree trimmed in dog tags and glitter. Gifts practical, welding gloves for Stephen. Sketchpads for Logan. Love's language unspoken. Climax's echo resolved in quiet revelation. New Year's. Golden Gate vantage. Fog-burned fireworks blooming. Stephen pulled an envelope. Dad's letter. Annotated Stephen's script. He was wrong. Love wins. Burn it, Logan asked. Lighter flicked. Stephen nodded. Flames devouring past. Ashes scattering to bay winds. New year. Knew us. Yet the story's arc bent humanistic. Not saccharine. Challenges lingered. Stephen's job hunt plateaued. Biases biting. Logan's commissions dipped. Market queer fatigued. Fights flared, over dishes. Doubts. But makeup's mercy deepened bonds. Apologies artful. We're human, Logan say. Post-storm cuddles. Messy masterpieces. 1 year post-trial. Anniversary hike. Muir Woods. Redwood's ancient sentinels. Picnic spread, sandwiches. Stories. Stephen's voice low. That punch? Worst day. Best. The blood after. You. Logan leaned in. Kiss redolent of earth and eternity. Worst for me too. But look, roots entwined. Flags flying. Epilogue's grace. Community Center Gala. Stephen keynoting. Ex-Marine turned mentor. Voice booming. Hates a weak weld. Love. Forges forever. Logan in audience. Ring glinting. Heart full. Post-speech. Backstage tangle. Bodies pressed. Breaths shared. Proud, Logan whispered. Stephen grinned. Stubble tickling. Of us. In America's mosaic, flawed. Fierce, they carve space, 2 men. Blood-bridged. From destruction to dawn. Not perfect. But profoundly human, loves labor. Rainbow resilient. Waving eternal.